We're not done. We got NFL notebook stories to talk about here, too.
Yeah, names in the news. Paul Tagliabue has left us.
Legendary commissioner, National Football League. He took the league from the level that Pete Rose established it as a successful sports league. He took the brand to big business. What Tagliabue did on a lot of different levels is historic. He was only commissioner for 17 years in all. But as he was commissioner, he did phenomenal things. Item one, labor peace. He had a unique relationship, a partnership with Gene Upshaw. And usually pro sports and the head of the union, it's like no man's land. It's like a war. Not in the NFL during the Tagliabue, Gene Upshaw era. That era also included free agency, things of that nature. Never a work stoppage while Tagliabue was a commissioner. It's been a work stoppage in everything in life, every year, especially in sports, but not in the National Football League. The other thing, he helped create and grow the mega TV deals. He oversaw the expansion and the building of a lot of new stadiums. There was obviously expansion into Cleveland, Carolina, other places. He did a lot of unbelievable things. He came up with the idea of the Rooney Rule. Interviews, minorities, black coaches. Now, there's some bumps in the road, but the concept worked early on. I don't know if it needs to be refined, rethought. Rooney Rule now is not quite what the intent was when Tagliabue brought it into being. He just created an aura of big business. There is a negative, though, and it really bothered me. I mean, I lost my mind watching Kenny Albert interview your president. Every network show had a salute to Tagliabue, and rightfully so. He's in the Hall of Fame and what he did over 17 years. Do you know not one of those shows mentioned the concussion lawsuit? And I will forever hold it against him. Now, he is in the Hall of Fame. I don't know they would have gotten my Hall of Fame vote because I know a lot of inside stuff about what happened when it was first brought front and center about concussions, dementia, Alzheimer's, suicides, and Tagliabue did nothing. He formed a bogus committee, a head committee, and he had his personal doctor lead it who had no history of dealing with brain injuries. And the whole thing was a sham. Eventually, they got sued. Eventually, they had to settle. Eventually, we had a concussion program now that's in effect, which is awarded enormous amounts of money. But they were forced into it rather than go to court. They would have lost everything had they gone to court. But while he was commissioner, Tagliabue totally ignored it. And I swear I will go to my grave that there are some team physicians that woke up one morning, John, with conscience. And they presented documents that showed there had been communications back and forth that we believe concussions have led to dementia or Alzheimer's. And we believe we need to do research for what then became CTE, which now proves the point. And we had all these player suicides. They had 45 player suicides. Tagliabue just totally ignored it as if sucks to be them. It was terrible. And I'll never forget, I had a Charger player tell me a quote, and this it also was part of the stuff the union mentioned, that under Tagliabue, the whole response was, you got a problem? You're going to sue us? Delay, deny, and hope you die.
Whoa.
I had a Charger player tell me that.
Whoa.
Who was afflicted. It's everywhere. So that's the one thing that really bothered me is none of the TV network shows as they did the salute to Tagliabue, talked about his life career, not one brought up that whole mess. And if you don't believe me, read the book. If you don't believe me, watch the movie Concussion. It's out there. It'll tell you a story. So anyhow, that's Paul Tagliabue. Second topic on the table. They got him. New York Giants fired their coach, Brian Daboll, today. And that situation is such a mess. They've lost so many bad games. I don't think he was qualified. His career record with the Giants was 20, 40, and 1. And battered by injuries, bad front office, bad drafts, Jackson Dart got hurt again yesterday. Fourth time he's had to go to the blue tent this season to be evaluated. Now they think he does have a concussion. But Brian Daboll, I just think, was a misfit as a head coach. And they've had so many bad head coaches there. The Mara family needs to do something different in terms of who's advising them, whom they should hire, but he just got fired. In Dallas, interesting story in the aftermath of the terrible suicide with Marshawn Kneeland, the young linebacker out of Western Michigan who killed himself last week. Micah Parsons is paying for Kneeland's funeral.
Oh.
The ex-Cowboy. They were friends.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting. Team meetings on Friday after the story broke and evolved. Dak Prescott stood up in a team meeting and looked at the entire 63-man roster in that locker room in the Cowboys and said, it's okay not to be okay. You say, why would you say that? It's okay not to be okay because there's help out there for you.
Yes.
You got a problem, there's help out there. You got a problem, you come to me. You got a problem, we have a union that can help you. Dak Prescott speaking firsthand. Brother committed suicide. Two other players then spoke to the entire roster about how we have to come together. If you sense a problem with a teammate, step forward and talk to him or go to the team doctors. If you're a teammate and you don't feel right, headaches, whatever, you got personal problems, step forward, reach to me or reach to Dak. I was told, Dallas Cowboy beat guy who talked to Prescott said that it was evidently was an absolutely amazing team meeting. And that should be happening in every locker room around the NFL. Because guys, I think you might have mentioned it last week. In the NFL, guys have this thing of this machismo thing. I can handle this crap.
Yeah.
No, you can't. Not head injuries, not brain damage,
Yeah.
not ongoing problems. Obviously, Kneeland suicide, if they do the autopsy, they'll probably find some form of CTE, which was forming on the brain, which would have taken his life somewhere down the road. It affects your thinking. But the Cowboy guy told me, said Prescott was just amazing. That's what other players told him about what Prescott said at the meeting. So interesting story. Last story, Jacksonville Jaguars. They're moving from Jacksonville for 1 year. They're going to play their home games next year in Orlando. There's a massive renovation of that Jacksonville stadium. So they're going to play at Orlando. There'd been talk, where are they going to go? They've been talking about making them just a European team for a whole season. But they've signed a deal. They're going to play 5 home games in Orlando. 3 other road games are going to be in England. They've been England's team for the last group of years. That's interesting there. So you got a comment on Tagliabue, the Giants coach, what Dak had to say? Go ahead, John.
Wow. There's a lot there. First of all, has the NFL only had 3 commissioners?
Yes.
Rozelle, Tagliabue, and Goodell.
69 years.
That's amazing, really. Yep. I mean, the NBA's had a lot of continuity with Stern and Silver, but baseball hasn't. It's been a lot more erratic. Now, if you were to take those 3 NFL commissioners and give each of them a letter grade, what would you give them?
Well, I think Rozelle has to get an A only because he took it and made it from a mom and pop operation into a business operation, did the TV contracts, the first group of contracts with the 2 or 3 networks that existed at that point, and made it event watching. And Rozelle was a PR guy. He used to be a PR guy for the Rams way back. So he was creative in that area. But then the players formed the Players Association union job. The job got much more complicated. And Tagliabue comes in and he elevates it and he takes the brand to a whole new level. And somehow, some way, he and Upshaw decided, as this thing was exploding and growing, it has to be a partnership.
Oh, yeah.
And it became a partnership, no work stoppages whatsoever. And he did so many other dynamic things. But the minute I think of Tagliabue, my heart hurts because I know guys, I've been with guys who have been damaged playing in the NFL and are of the opinion that the league didn't give a damn.
So what grade would you give Tagliabue?
I'd probably say a B.
Yeah.
Only because of what he ignored for chunks of years with the brain damage, the concussion lawsuit. If you've never seen the movie Concussion with Will Smith, see it. You'll come away feeling really different because the story's pretty true. and it's an offshoot of the book that was written about the death of Mike Webster and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was the onset of this whole concussion thing, which then led to the lawsuit. So I'd give him probably a B. And Goodell, I would have to say probably a B to an A, because now it's really big business. Now it's global business, and they have done a lot of work to try to help the players and make the game much safer. It's a monstrously hard business to run. Of course, there's egos, and there's smart people, and there's stupid people, et cetera.
Yeah.
So,
Plenty of all of those.
Yeah, that are owners, et cetera, and it's a lot more complicated now. And now there's so many other distractions out there, and the integrity of the game, be it steroids or HGH or now gambling, really important too.
I always like at the NFL draft when Goodell comes out there, everyone boos him, which is sort of like an inside joke, it seems. But you're talking about, Tagliabue and Gene Upshaw. And it's just neat to think about Gene Upshaw and Art Shell and how successful they were, all pro players for the Raiders, but both went on to very distinguished post-playing, careers in the NFL.
Yeah. The most unique thing is they came from small black colleges. I think Shell came from Maryland Eastern Shore, and I'm not sure where Upshaw, maybe Texas A&I.
Wow.
But they did not come from football factories. They did not come from academic institutions, but yet they became really smart people. And not only was Upshaw become a great union leader, he had a presence. I interviewed him one time. He had a presence that was amazing just to be around him in terms of intellect. But Art Shell became a really good coach, and then Art Shell went to work for the league.
Oh, wow.
And when he retired the first time with the Raiders, he wound up going to league game day operations, and he had input in rules and things of that nature. So yeah, those are two really special people.
Really special people, yeah. And yeah, Daboll, that guy, he seemed like he was sort of halfway out, and that he was going to get toasted at one point. You lose Scadaboo, the whole thing's just gone sideways there. Love to hear the story about Dak Prescott, and all that leadership there. That's good. And yeah, the Jaguars are sort of like the Globetrotters, right?
Yeah.
They sort of bounce around, they're the team that seems to play in London the most.
Except they don't win. Globetrotters do win.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's all things NFL Notebook. You have an opinion on Tagliabue? I said a lot. I've been preaching a lot today because there's a lot of strong emotions about the stories that we've been covering today on this podcast. But feel free, Fans Forum chat box is open. Last topic.